Alrighty guys, and welcome back to Puffin Planes. We are doing our Southwest run. This will be part 4. Might be the last part. We might have a part 5. We'll see. We've grabbed the airports out in Hawaii. If you didn't know, the goal of this one is to do the Hawaii expansion just like Southwest did. But to do so, when we can only use the veteran, we cannot use the veteran ER, we cannot use the long range PAX 250. None of these airplanes are going to be usable for us while other airlines are using them, so it makes it a pretty good challenge. But one of the issues that we had is that the veteran is only 3,000 kilometers. So with the airplane only having 3,000 kilometers, we've had to build through some blocks. We've helped assist the airline, building wing research, doing the engine research. We got through a tough start. And now we are flush with cash. We are doing really well. We can look at the competition here. We are worth $65 million. We are double the cost of any of the other airlines. We are directly competing with Seagull on the North American continent. I am nervous at some point one of these guys is going to make the hop and make our job a little bit more difficult to keep our routes network all green. We'll have a lot more passengers. We'll basically at that point be connected to, I believe, the rest of the world. And once that happens, with me being unable to compete against any of these routes, it'll be pretty difficult. So we're going to try to get that done before that happens. It looks like the Seagull has really pushed into Denver. We do own every single concourse here. They cannot take them. We are still dominant, but they do have routes coming off of this everywhere. So we're going to want to get to Denver as soon as possible. We did just fully build out Chicago. It does go to both the new airports that we just unlocked. We will build down into here. Hopefully we can make it with what we have. I no longer think I need the advertising. We're going to let this tick over a few days. Yep, we're still dominant. One of our airplanes just crashed. So you guys can see what this looks like now. We had the crash of this Puffin 18295. The veteran, which is operated by SouthWest Airlines, crashed while flying from Winnipeg to Chicago. 160 passengers perished in the incident, and the airline suffered a negative 10 blow to their reputation. We're going to end up rebuilding the route, but it is terrible news, and the only thing we can do at this point is keep the route going in their name, and hopefully build it back better and not let things like that happen. One of the ways that those things happen is if we have, advanced taxiways that can help keep things safe on the airport. You can also have the microwave landing system, which we have a 10% reduction in crashes. What we're going to do in their honor is, unfortunately, Winnipeg had no safety system. The airline flying in goes to the Common Infrastructure Fund based on their landing fees. We, in their honor, are going to make sure that can never happen again and do our best to not allow that to happen again. We're going to build up the taxiways. We're going to build up the takeoff and landing system and make sure that those passengers are well remembered. We are going to move on. We're going to keep going. We're in quarter 17. The goal is to get this done by, I guess, Q20, Q25 at the latest. Have a full network built out. We have new airplanes coming in, the Block 3s with the 124% fuel efficiency. Looks like we can add more to the research in 2.6 days. And we'll just keep on keeping on. Chicago's fully built out. I think we're going to come back here to Dallas real quick and just make sure that we didn't miss anything with the connections. And it looks like Louisville. Honolulu, no connection. Kauai, Kona, no connection. That makes sense. Liao, no connection. Charleston needs a connection. Gina. Thunder Bay. And Little Rock. This should be the way that we end up connecting basically to Mexico and Central America, is through Dallas, through Orlando, through Phoenix. So we're going to acquire the operating rights in 8 new cities. And I don't think we're going to establish a hub in Mexico, but we are going to do the VIP clubhouse in Albuquerque because that gives us a Puffin token. So VIP clubhouse, Albuquerque, done. Quick Puffin token helps us out. Let's see if there's anything we can buy while we're here. Free checked bags, bag weight limits. You know, hey, Southwest just changed their free bag strategy, so we're gonna go all the way over to the other side now. We're doing bag weight limits. We're, you know, one of the things I love the most about Southwest was their free bags, and it's unfortunate that's going away. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree. So we'll continue. It's an unfortunate move by them. But we need to get another 8 operating agreements. So we're going to finish building out Mexico completely and maybe all the way down into Central America here. Like I said, we're not going to build down here. We're going to grab San Juan. There is some more of Canada. We have not touched Alaska yet, but we'll start pushing into those. One thing I am glad I haven't had to worry about in this run is that, you know, large airplanes going into airports. What you'll see, like this airport, you can see here on the screen now, is that you can only support small airplanes that have short runways. You can upgrade that yourself here. It does cost $84,000, which for a small city like this isn't necessarily needed. But what you can see is about 80% of the passengers going into this airport are actually, you know, a little bit, you know, you got your budget, you've got your comfort, and then, you know, the luxury here. Luxury passengers, being that we're in the Southwest model, we are not worrying about those at all. So we only get about 80% of the max passengers here, and only having a town the size of 80,000 really makes it so they probably isn't worth it for us to put a bunch of flights up there, but we'll probably will anyways, just so we have a good route network and cover the screen, make it green, so they say. All right, we got 2 more airplanes. We're going to keep connecting DFW. No connection there. We got Lubbock, Guadalajara, Halifax, maybe. Yep, that'll do. Hermosillo. And just waiting on more airplanes. One of the other things in this, we'll construct those 5 hangars while we're waiting. So we'll maybe go to Vegas. Maybe we can sabotage. It failed. Sacramento. That'll do. Go to Bend, Oregon. Shout out Bend. And Spokane. So we got the hangars. We got another Puffin token for that. We are not able to do the hub in Mexico, but we do have 8 airplanes now, so we will continue making sure nothing sneaked up there. Santo Domingo, it's pretty close to the range of the airplane going down there. Havana, don't know if we'll be able to sneak in San Juan. Cabo, awesome that we were able to get that in the network now. What you can see with Cabo too, it's got a 100% give up rate. Basically the only connection we had to Cabo was through Orlando, which if you were going maybe Santo Domingo to Orlando to Cabo, that would, the give up rate wouldn't be as high. But having DFW now, everybody coming up from basically Winnipeg through here could hypothetically make it to Cabo. And that give up rate should end up going down to almost 0. So we'll come back. I'll take a see if we can take a look at that. For those of you guys who are just learning the game, it's one of those stats that might not seem all that important, but you know, you connect the whole of your network, and there's a reason why certain people aren't able to get to other places. So we got all those connections done. We're still looking at Cabo. It'll take a second for that to go down. We'll need an airplane out of DFW with passengers on it to go there. Looks like there it goes. Hopefully it does it. Otherwise, it makes me look like a liar. We'll come back. I'll make sure that we take a look at that a little bit later. Might not update right away. So, we're flying. New airplane model research, PAX 350. This is even worse news for me. Remember how I said earlier on, you know, the more connected that they all get, the worse off this is going to be from my network. We've got a really green network right now. Everybody's able to get where they want to. It's not optimized probably very well. But, you know, if you want to go Washington to Baltimore, these are the flights that I love. There's only third full, and we're still making money. But we just have so many airplanes going all over the place that as a whole, we are making cash. You know, the Chicago to Kingston route, nobody really on it. Fort Worth, not making money there either. I mean, you could probably look around and there's not a lot of money in some of these, but you do have routes like this where you're making 10,000 a day that's covering the cost of all those other ones. We can go to the routes page. One of the best ways to do this is go by profitability. We can actually see that our Washington, Baltimore to New York City route, we actually have 2 airplanes on that route. We're still only at a 93% delivery rate, and we are making good money there. Dallas, Fort Worth to San Antonio, we should actually be adding another airplane here. We're only delivering 90% of them. It needs almost 800 a day. So we're actually going to do that. We're just going to go ahead, add another airplane, and make all that work. So if you want to start optimizing things, you want to get into the nitty gritty of the game, you can. As you can see, I haven't really done any of that in my parts, 1, 2, and 3, being that we're on part 4 now. And we're still succeeding. We're still bigger than all the other ones, even on unfair mode. The game itself will reward you for just doing, making routes and doing at least some sort of a strategy. The AI was pretty aggressive early on hopping into some of my airports, but it hasn't been too aggressive to the point where, even though I'm not playing an optimized game, that we're struggling. So if you guys ever get in a co-op situation or something like that, this game does have the ability to play online multiplayer. Maybe at some point we'll make a video on that. I've personally never done it. I maybe can get in the Discord with some of the other guys who play the game pretty actively and see if we can all meet up for a time and, get an hour or 2 game in and, see who's got the best airline after, 20, 30 quarters or something like that. That would be a lot of fun. At that point, you might have to optimize things a little bit more. You might have to see, if you're competing on a route between these two, if they've got an airline or an airplane that has 206 boarding or 206 capacity, and you can sneak in there with an airplane that costs less to operate, and you can fill up your airplane and they're flying theirs at a less capacity, that you can start eating into their routes. Could be interesting. Could be fun to do. Let me know in the comments if you guys would love to do that. Personally, I think I'll probably do that at some point, but if you guys want to see it, it's even more motivation for me as a content creator at this point to make that happen. We're still waiting on Cabo to not show 100%. Where are these people trying to go? Let's answer that question. That'll help us here. Cabo is trying to go to Guadalajara, Hermosillo, Mexicali, Monterrey. They've got direct flights between the two. It looks like their give-up rate's now only 44% to DFW. So maybe this finally updated? I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to show it. Yep, 44%. We can all take a deep breath, sigh of relief. It did update. So, now only half the people are leaving the airport disappointed, which is good news. So we'll keep going here. We obviously don't want any passengers to be having a bad day if we can avoid it. So we're going to keep connecting as many of DFW or the Dallas-Fort Worth area, since we would be flying out of Love mostly. If you guys didn't know, DFW is American Airlines' biggest hub, or one of the biggest hubs. So SouthWest doesn't operate out of there, other than maybe a flight or 2. And we got a few people going to Durango. That's not going to be very profitable, but we'll do it anyways. Can't get to St. John's. That's all the way up there. And Deer Lake, we can take a look at. Nope, can't do Deer Lake either. We'll be able to do that when we get to our next one. Panama City? Can we make that happen? I think we can. Beautiful. No connection. We can go do the connection to Mexicali finally. That'll be the first connection for them. Prince George, I don't think we'll be able to make that. Oh, we can. Awesome. And can't do. San Juan. Can we make San Juan? We can. I think if we click this now, we should see it at every single airport around here. So I guess you could call, and again, I think I said in part 3, I wanted to talk to the developer about this, why this doesn't show up on the unlocked by you page. I have the airport unlocked, but it doesn't show that I need to compete with the AI on it, which to me is a little bit of an issue because they have a connection to that airport. I now am fighting them on that route, but it didn't tell me, and it actually doesn't show that. I'm a little confused by this. There we go. Yeah, so there they are. So that Chihuahua to DFW route wasn't showing up on my page here, but it is showing up that I would need a connection there. I just put that airplane on there. So that's an interesting one. Hopefully we can get a fix for that. Obviously not game breaking, but it is something you should pay attention to. I think we can also make Orlando stretch now to Bakersfield. Yep, we can. And we're going to need to connect all of Orlando down to the south down here. I think I'm going to avoid Phoenix going basically past Mexico City. I don't think it really gains anything from a DFW being here as well. They can always just connect that way. And if they were coming from this side, they would want to go through Orlando anyways. So I don't think there's really a reason to connect Phoenix past Mexico City. So as we build out Phoenix as one of our next hubs and Denver as one of our next hubs, we'll basically be stopping around Guadalajara and Mexico City for both those. We're going to keep the game running. We have $8 million of cash. What that tells me is we need to buy more airplanes. We're going to buy so many airplanes. And if you didn't hear me in the other episode, the developer is working on a way to actually make the airplanes cost more. His idea, which I thought was a good one, is basically early on you have quote unquote government subsidies. And they basically artificially make the airplanes cheaper. And then, in the mid game here, later in the stages, they would be exponentially more expensive, 500,000, probably even almost $1 million. So instead of being able to buy, in this case, where I can buy 5, 10, 15, 20 airplanes roughly, I would only be able to buy one. And that would stop a lot of this snowballing that's going on where I can just keep spamming airplanes out. So I think it's a great idea by him. I think it's something that'll be implemented in one way or another. And it'll be a good change. So we were able to get one more line pushed out with that $8 million. We did have our small hangar destroyed up here, so we're immediately going to go rebuild that because I do not like when that happens. And we're just going to keep building our airline network here. Orlando needs to connect down into Central America. We are not connecting this to South America. And what this also does when we start connecting things like this is we completely skip over the AI's hub. So if I was sitting here and I was flying from, we'll say Chicago, while Chicago doesn't directly connect down to these airports, if you wanted to stay on my airline, all you'd have to do is go into Orlando. You'd go Orlando down to, say, Guatemala City, or go into San Jose, or go into Panama City. Well, if you were flying on the competitor, you'd go into Cancun and then go down. So they had the most optimized routes until about a quarter ago for all of these down here. But basically, all of my passengers can now just skip over Cancun, and they can't steal money away from my airline anymore by kind of having that exclusive rights. Something that I could do to make it really difficult on the AI. I own all of the hubs here, or all the concourses here. I can basically just straight right now, even though they have a 29% here, go, nope, you are done. Get out of my airport, and we're going to do that. So we are completely going to eat up the middle part of the country. They have really no say of what's going on here. We can also, once we get all of the acquisitions of these, do the same thing in Chicago and really, really, really hurt the Seagull here. We're going to keep expanding out Dallas, and we are going to keep expanding out Denver as well. We're going to expand out a little bit more for Chicago when we have the opportunity to. So anyways, perfect. I think at this point we're going to be looking at, it's funny, I didn't even have Orlando connected to Mexico City. Feels bad. Perfect. There we go. One more over here. Awesome. I think we could probably get into Hermosillo here. And Mexicali. I doubt these routes are worth it for the airline, but it is something that they might want. And I don't think I connected to Puerto Rico. And we'll want to connect to Washington, Baltimore. And while we're here, we're going to go down and get one of these Caribbean islands and maybe grab Chicago out of there as well. Amazing. It's too far. Perfect. Should be able to do Chicago, San Juan though. Awesome. While we were talking, we were able to get more airplanes. There is a pretty big gap in planes here, so the Ostrich and apologies about that, I bumped my mic. The Ostrich and the Air Penguin actually will be able to get some good amount of airplanes here real quick, which will help them with their own networks. I'm not fighting for them on any of these. They should be able to, if they want to, fly into wherever, and also if they wanted to have these smaller airplanes, they can have them at any time. They're about to get the Micro, which will really help. It's basically another same style of airplane as the Veteran. And then after that, they get the Macro. And the Macro can do, I want to say it's about 13,000 kilometers. So again, not sure why nobody's connected to our network yet. It's here for the taking. London to Washington would be a prime route for one of these guys. And hopefully my network can handle it. I think it would. Additionally, we've got all of this over here. With the range that they have, they could connect to Seattle and really make it difficult for our networks to withstand it. So we'll see what happens. I'm still waiting on this final model to be done. I almost clicked the Pico there. We got 10% left. It looks like it'll be done in about 15 days. Should be about quarter 21, and we can see where everything goes at that point. But Dallas is done, Orlando's done, Chicago is almost done, if not done. It is close to done. We're going to connect a few more things. Mexicali, Hermosillo, Durango, and I don't think I need to connect anything down here. Everybody would just connect through Dallas or Orlando. All those airports down there are covered, so I'm not going to be redundant with it. So let's go work on Denver. Denver needs to connect to all of these as well, so we're just going to go through this connecting flight page and spam that out. And I will be right back with you guys. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we have connected Denver as much as we can for the amount of airplanes. For the amount of airplanes we have in right now. Sorry if there's a little stutter in the video there. Basically, we are just trying to keep that connected. I think I put about 20 some airplanes in. You can see that most of the places that want the connection are getting it. We do have some down here, 5 a day, 2 a day, 0 a day, that sort of thing. Not really all that important. So we're just going to keep getting some more airplanes coming through. And once these orders are in, we can keep these airplanes coming. We can keep the airline growing. And there is the first big connection. So we have some airline. You're going to see at this point, my whole network is going to go red. I don't know who put that in. Seagull did. Great. So you can see right there, 2.4. So 2,400 people are pushing in, and this is going to cause some chaos here. Probably going to happen, but it's good that we have those all green routes already. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Probably get a connection over here, and it'll get even more tough. But you can see all the red coming from Sacramento now. What that means for me is I probably want to connect every single airport to Sacramento that I can. Denver is already connected. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to get to any other hubs. Maybe we need to build out Phoenix a little sooner. Um, we'll just connect it to Phoenix and hope for the best here. It's just gonna get pretty messy, but this will increase the amount of money that we have. More people are gonna want to move. There's an autosave coming. There's gonna be a bunch of people wanting to move through the network, so that will make more money for us, which is good. We are already pretty flush for cash, so I'm not necessarily too worried about it. We're gonna construct a few more hangars, keep that up, and like I said, we'll just keep going from there. I already got that done. 11 more airplanes. We'll build out a few more for Denver. Like I said, our network is not going to look as pretty and green now. We do have so many people wanting to go between the two. You can see 7,000 people in Sacramento right now, all trying to go in to Ningbo. I'm not going to even try that again, but trying to go over here to Asia. It is the only connection through for everybody. If you want to go from London, see, London to Athens, their final destinations are all listed there. None of them are trying to get all the way over to us because they can't. The way the game's code is written is basically if you had a 6-hour flight or something from London to Washington, D.C., and the best route is going to be 29, 30 hours, it just won't take it. So it's everything right now for the whole game basically is trying to push through here if they're trying to get into North America. So kind of an interesting dynamic, but we'll continue on. As stated before, our goal is to get to Hawaii, and I think this final block should do it. We won't know until the very end. We'll be able to boost that one more time here in 1.5 days. That should actually be enough then to get us to block 4. What you'll see me do when we get to block 4, I basically own the whole production line at this point. So we're just going to stack up about 30-40 airplanes, probably finish off Denver, maybe get Phoenix going. But you'll see me actually just sell all my rights to those. We have so much money, it's not really a factor. And if I sell, I actually get $20 million back right now. We'll be refunded 70% the cost of the base airplane. So the manufacturer keeps to keep 30% of that. But with them keeping 30% of it, we get to keep 70. And we can just build that right into block 4. We should, like I said, have max range at that point that we need. And it's enough talking about it. We can just do it. So next tick should make that block 4 happen. We're going to put a bunch in here already, just to maybe help the manufacturer so they don't lose out on all the money. Actually, we're going to do a little cheat there. We're going to build that next veteran, and then we're going to sell. And what you can see is there's only 20 airplanes really in the queue. It didn't give us a big max range boost. That is so unfortunate. Oh, man. Oh, that hurts. You know, there might be a limit to it. We'll have to see if block 5 allows more. But a 4% boost and it being capped at a round number might be the end of the run. So we'll see. We'll get to block 5. If it doesn't go up anymore from there, we know we've found the limit. And unfortunately, I don't think we can make Hawaii with the veteran. Which would be a very tough way to end this. So I guess right now I'm going to finish off with you guys building out Denver. We'll stop there. We'll finish up episode 4 with Denver being fully completed. Episode 5 of I guess it'll be a 5-part series at that point. We'll be finishing off block 5, finishing off Phoenix, adding in these airports for the preparation of hopefully making it to Hawaii in that episode. If you want to see how that ends, I guess we have a little drama here. We had a little drama at the beginning. We have a little drama now. We'll see what happens. But like I said on the other ones, if you have any questions for me, go into in Discord, reach out to me, Weatherman said, go into the Puffin Planes Discord. If If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that us YouTubers, I guess, ask you to do. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll see you guys in episode 5. Have a good one.